Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Danel Nasir Mirza. You are watching Pakistan's #1 mixed martial arts show. This is The Way, and I am honored and privileged to get to be speaking to Lauren Lucky Murphy, the number five ranked UFC women's flyweight contender. If you are in the area, and by the area I mean Houston, Texas, Lauren will be taking on Alana Holy for the 135-pound no-gi brown belt championship on the 5th of December, live from the Bayou Event Center in Houston, Texas for submission 100 Pro 63. Tickets available right now at GarciaPromotions.com or Mike the Truth. How are you, Lauren? I'm so excited to get to speak to you.
Thank you. No, I'm really good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. That was an awesome intro.
Thank you. That means a lot. And yeah, I mean, thank you so much for doing this. I was telling you right before we went on, you were nice enough to say, you know what, let's do it. Let's do an interview. People aren't very generous with their interviews, and right now I feel like it's a very, very important time to get to speak to you. You're coming off of one of the most impressive wins in flyweight history, I would say, over Lilia Shakirova in what was definitely the most watched card of the year, Khabib Gaethje, 254, Fight Island. First of all, how are you feeling after that? And yeah, how does it feel in retrospect, the entire fight?
I feel amazing. I'm super happy with that performance and that win, and just felt really grateful that whole week to be on Fight Island and to be on such a cool card and just have a chance to showcase really. And yeah, it move up in the flyweight rankings. I think actually my ranking didn't change, but I think my stock went up anyway. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And also the rankings, Lauren, like who makes them? What are they worth? Like who's sitting in who's, like basement coming up with these ridiculous rankings?
I know. I don't know. It's crazy to me, So we'll see tonight, because I think every woman that's ranked above me is fighting tonight. So we'll see how it goes, and some of them, honestly, anyway, whoever loses between Chukagian and Cynthia, they should be ranked below me next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure. For sure.
So,
and you tapped out a legacy grappler, quote unquote, they were saying, in Lilia Shakirova, and that was like a part of your game, which you can tell you train a lot. Like you train a lot of submissions, train a lot of jiu-jitsu. And how did it feel to finally get that beautiful RNC right in the smack center of the canvas? How did it feel?
It was awesome. Yeah, I really wanted my first submission win, and so we had talked about it when I was going to fight Cynthia to, really focus on my ground game and show off my grappling and stuff, because it's a lot better, I think, than people give me credit for. And then my opponent got changed, but it was nice because Lilia was a lifelong grappler, and so to be able to go in there and submit her was still, it was still a really great feeling, and get that first submission win in the jiu-jitsu capital of the world was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, full circle, it seemed like the perfect storybook ending. There was a lot going into it as well. Like that was a big risk for you fighting Lilia, who is, a touted prospect. And then, just coming in to the fight with so much expectation on her, just especially from the grappling department, just to completely outdo her in that regard. I mean, doesn't get any sweeter than that. And how was Fight Island? I got to ask, how was Fight Island?
It was beautiful. And just the way that they had the Fight Island set up, where they had the bubble like set up for everybody, and we could go to the beach and go to the hotel, and it was all super safe. Everybody was tested all the time, and you weren't allowed to leave the quarantine zone. They really had it down to a science by the time we got there, and so it was a really enjoyable experience.
Yeah. And the whole thing, and after that the fallout was very interesting. For me, it was obvious that you need to be it wasn't even should you or should you not, but you needed to be inserted into the title conversation after that.
Yeah.
Not just the win, but you went off in that post-fight press conference. That was one of my favorite monologues, I have to be honest. Like you hit nail on the head every single time you mentioned a fighter. It completely made sense. By the end of that entire fight, one of the fights I was looking forward to, I was saying it should be Lauren Murphy versus Jessica Andrade. Is that a fight that you want to pursue?
Yeah, I love that fight. Jessica Andrade, being a former champion, a win over her would be huge. It would be the biggest win of my career, and I would love that. Yeah, I'll go in there and fight Jessica Andrade, no problem. I would love that.
How do you think you match up against?
Against Jessica, I think I match up pretty good. I think I'm a better grappler, but she's so powerful that she would be like a challenge to take down. She's a challenge in the clinch because she's so low to the ground, and she's just good at those power lifts. So she's dangerous. She's a well-known finisher, just a really popular fighter. So I would love to get in there and mix it up with her. I think I can hit harder than she does. I think I can, I think I have one of the best chins in the UFC. So maybe I could withstand her power too. And yeah, it would be a really fun fight. And I love the clinch. I love to get in the clinch. So if she wants to clinch up with me, then she can have at it.
For sure. And I got to ask about UFC 255 for those of you watching, wondering what Lauren's opinions are on the card. It hasn't happened yet. It's going to be happening actually in just under 4 hours. The early prelims are going to start. But I got to ask you, I don't going to ask you for predictions. That kind of, it's a little unfair, first of all, to just make predictions in the fight game. Like, how can you predict anything? You know what I mean? In the world of fighting.
No, right?
It's the most futile exercise in my head, like having to predict a fight. But what I will ask you is, Valentina Shevchenko, of course, taking on Jennifer Maia. You were very vocal in the post-fight press conference about how Jennifer Maia should not be in this spot. But whatever comes out of this, whoever wins, who do you think? And you did play quite a bit matchmaker in the post-fight press conference, so I want to make sense of this. I don't mean to push you on the spot about that, but where do you think the winner of this fight should be placed, or who should be rather placed to fight them, slated to fight them next?
Ask me again. Who should what?
Who should face the winner of the championship fight tonight? Valentina Shevchenko, Jennifer Maia.
For sure. I mean, I think it should be me, but if not, then maybe the winner of Andrade and I.
Yeah.
I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it depends too. We'll see how Chookagian and Cynthia goes, but it's like Chookagian's coming off a first round TKO loss, and Cynthia only has one fight in the division. Yeah. She has a win over the number 7 ranked girl right now. So it's like, she's going to need more than that to have a case for a shot at the title for sure.
And speaking of Cynthia Calvillo, a little salty, isn't it? Like, I think she, to her own admission, she was a little salty. Right after your win, she said she wasn't impressed. Like, that was just trying to channel inner GSP, except she's not as nice or Canadian, not impressed by your performance. But she said she's salty. She admitted it, and she said, quote unquote, she said she's beat nobody. It was a free paycheck. It was a vacation on Fight Island. The statements like that to me are ridiculous. Somebody who's never fought, let alone somebody who has fought, and saying something like that. When you heard all of that, and she was supposed to fight you as well. I mean, this is really confusing. What does Cynthia want here? Like, does she want to fight you or not? It's just confusing.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Cynthia doesn't know what she wants. Like, she's pissed off that I didn't wait around for her to recover from COVID, that I took the fight that the UFC put in front of me instead. That's crazy talk. That's the most entitled, spoiled thing I've ever heard in my life. But Cynthia's been treated really well in the UFC. She's been given a lot of opportunities, and, she missed weight by 5 pounds, and then she was awarded with a main event shot, against Jessica I. They both missed weight by 5 pounds, and then they were rewarded with main event slots. She's awarded this like top 3 contendership spot after beating Jessica by a decision. Jessica's ranked like 6 or 7 now, I think. Like, it's just crazy. Like, Cynthia's been handled a lot, and it shows in her attitude, when she thinks that fighters need to put themselves on hold just because she went and got COVID. Like, it's not my fault she got COVID, you know what I mean? And then she had the opportunity to fight me. She could have fought me December 12th. Like, I had agreed to that. Like, we could fight December 12th, and I was going to be an alternate for the fight tonight. And Cynthia couldn't handle it. She was like, no, she wants to. So I guess she wanted to go fight sooner, which is fine. You can fight sooner, but now you're fighting a fight that means nothing.
Yeah.
You could have waited 3 weeks and fought me and been in a number 1 contender fight. It would have been a contendership fight. Yeah. And instead you chose to go fight Chookagian, and it's nothing. So what if you beat Chookagian? You still have a number 1 contender fight in front of you. So you better beat Chookagian tonight. That's all I got to say. Chookagian's a pretty tough fight. She beat a lot of contenders in the division. So good luck.
Yeah, I think that's a nice note to end it on. Good luck. Not salty. It's very to the point. It's honest. Yeah. And I got to ask you about the champ, Valentina Shevchenko. I mean, often there are divisions where there's a champion that is just so dominant, in every of her title defenses that people start, there's this rhetoric about it. There's blatant disrespect to the other fighters in the division, where people say that, oh, she's unbeatable, stuff like that. Does that piss you off when you hear that? Do you feel like, well, she's not unbeatable? Nobody's unbeatable. There are holes in her game,
I It doesn't piss me off. I do think that like she's not unbeatable. Like she's human. She has weaknesses. She's even been beat in the UFC, you know? I mean, by Amanda Nunes, the greatest of all time, but still, like, still, you know, Valentina's an incredible fighter. She's amazing. I cannot wait, like, to stand across the octagon from her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She's maybe the best flyweight ever right now, but in MMA, if you fight long enough, somebody will beat you, period.
Yeah.
You know, and fights are crazy because sometimes it's like you go into a fight and sometimes the best fighter doesn't always win, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, anything can happen, but I'm excited to shoot my shot against her, and I agree with you. I think she is human, and everybody is beatable.
Yeah, I mean that's why we were talking about earlier as well. Like this is the worst sport to pick a winner. You know what I mean, or try to predict.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Literally anything can happen in this sport at any time, and I feel like that's what makes it the most exciting. And also, it's just more of a test of who's there. You know what I mean? When it's happening. I've never fought. I wouldn't know. I like to just think about what it's like, but I'm sure it's a lot more complex than that. And you also signed recently to a management company. I mean, and I listened to the Mike Heck interview to get prepped for this one. You know how it is in the journalism business. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you signed with a management company. From the outside looking in, the UFC's been a little bit, how do you say, ruthless with negotiations, especially during the COVID era. You see like dudes getting dropped from the rankings like Leon Edwards, which is like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor was a public negotiation, which was like absolutely embarrassing for the UFC. A lot of fighters are not happy with how they're getting paid right now or getting paid what they got in their previous contract. So needless to say, they're strong-arming people, you know what I mean? Is that part of why you felt like you needed to get some kind of management representation, so on and so forth?
No, well, not really because of that, because like I'm actually pretty happy with the contracts that I've had with the UFC, and like I'm pretty happy with what they've paid me and stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my hair. You're good. I'm pretty happy with what they've paid me, and I've always liked dealing like with the UFC myself. But I'm at a point in my career where it's like, okay, you know, now I am in title contention. I'm peaking as an athlete, like. This is my time, truly, and I think I have another couple years here where it's like I'm going to be at my very best, and I need an advocate. So I need somebody that can look over those contracts, somebody that can negotiate for me, somebody that can kind of guide my career a little bit. And I think First Round just has a lot of experience with high level people doing that, you know.
Yeah, it can be a very tricky business to fight business, you know, especially because reputations are also the line when you're negotiating. So if you like aren't able to negotiate a deal in time, it's just like, oh, she didn't want the fight, or oh, he's ducking him, or whatever, you know, like it just turns into one of those things, which is like, I'm sure that wasn't what happened or whatever. So I mean, yeah, that front is handled now. I'm really glad. I wanted to ask you something which I like to ask a lot of fighters, because most of the fighters that come on the podcast are, you know, Pakistani fighters. They're people who are just coming up. And people often don't know, you know, their stories or, you know, how they started fighting, what got them to start fighting. So just as the last thing to ask you, how did you start fighting, and what was it that wanted to, you know, keep you going? I didn't want to be disingenuous and not ask you this question for some reason. People might already know, but I really want to know, what was it that got you to start fighting, and what was it that made you think, okay, this is what I want to do?
Well, I took my son to a jiu-jitsu class when he was like 8. And mostly it was so that he could have all the benefits of MMA, not MMA, but the benefits of martial arts, where he could have some confidence, make some friends, get some exercise, like feel good about himself, like all the stuff that comes with martial arts, you know. And he didn't like it, but I did. I took the class with him, and I just loved it. I loved it. And so I started going like 3 times a week, and then it was like every day, and then it was twice a day, and like I just really, I don't know, I loved being on a team. I loved working hard. I loved how athletic like I was, and I had never really been an athlete before. So yeah, it was a really cool experience. And there were fighters at the gym, and to me they were like superstars. I was like, oh my God, these guys are amazing. And they were local fighters that fought in a local promotion, and I started training with them and just was like, I'm just going to do one. Like, I just want to do one fight, and then I'll tell my grandkids about it and like have a cool story. And I don't know. I really didn't expect it to like turn into this, but yeah, I did one fight and I loved it, and did another one, and then I was 8-0 and on my way to the UFC.
Just like that. And yeah, I mean that is really cool, because the reason I asked this question is because everybody has a different answer every time, and it's just such a cool thing, to hear this. And Lauren, I can't stress on this enough. It's just doing Pakistan here, trying to get to cover martial arts or whatever. This has been like the biggest deal for me. You're cool as hell. All of us here on the mic are big fans of yours. And when you were fighting Shakirova, we were going crazy. By the way, we were up in the mountains watching a couple of us friends, and when you got in that RNC, we were just like, oh shit, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. But honestly, Lauren, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure. It's been, one of the coolest things I've done. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Lauren Lucky Murphy. Lauren, to sign off, say what you want to say. Just, take it away. Floor is yours. Anything you want to say at all, please.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been a lot of fun. This has been really awesome for me too. So thank you. And to anybody that sees this interview, go to my Instagram bio. And there's a link for make your own luck shirts in there. And buying a shirt, first of all, the proceeds go to a really good cause. They go to a women's shelter here in Texas. So part of the proceeds go to that. And then part of the proceeds go to fund a documentary that we're making. So yeah, head over to my Instagram, go to my bio, pick up your shirt. They're really comfortable. They're good shirts. So get one.
And they look really good, especially in the green. I saw those make your own luck t-shirts. Go check them out.
Yeah, I have a white one. The white ones are really nice too. So yeah, you can pick green or white, and we have kids sizes and women's, and yeah, it goes to a great cause. So come check us out. And and Penny says hello.
Hey, Penny. She's really cute. Thank you so much.
So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is Daniel Mirza. I'm just gonna say all the things I normally say to you. From me, from Lauren, from Penny, I just want to say, hit that subscribe button, like this video, comment, blah, 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 all of that jazz. Do that. And as always, from me, from Lauren, from Penny, all of us here on the mic, 3 words that I always say to you to end the podcast. And that is just please keep it tight. Stay